Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Casey.
And I'm Anthony.
And we are Dos Cavazos, and we are watching Death Note, episode 8.
So in the last episode, we questioned whether Naomi was killed by Light there, if that his plan actually worked, because there was obviously the indication of her walking up to the stairs.
Yeah, like the symbolism of that.
Yeah.
And I guess we're not fully aware, because we're pretty new to anime, so we're not quite sure if that's like that's common for that kind of symbolism to show. We're kind of assuming now that she did kill herself. However, I'm sure we'll get confirmation, but I'm leaning kind of towards more the fact that it worked, which to me,
I was kind of questioning when Ryuk was laughing there. I wasn't quite, because she was laughing earlier in their interaction where like she didn't give him the name, the right name.
Yeah. I just feel like weird about it because I just. Yeah. Like, if you're an FBI agent and, like, a high school kid is like, I'm on the task force. Yeah. And I don't know if maybe I'm just, like, reading too much into it, but just to me, that's, like, a little bit of a red flag. She also was stricken with grief, probably, and just was, like, so excited to be on the task force, maybe. It was weird to me.
Yeah. You know, speaking of that, too, I keep getting curious by, like, L's age. I can't really pinpoint it.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of looks similar in age, in all honesty, to Light, so
He's probably older.
Yeah, I would imagine, but, like, they look very, very similar in age, and obviously they share a lot of parallels, as said by Naomi. Light keeps leaving, like, these little, I don't want to say...
clues? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, because it's almost kind of like FU type clues type of thing. Like, you know, I'm doing this, and I'm getting away with it type of thing. Yeah. But I feel like there's a little cockiness involved there, and, like, I would, like, at least be a little bit more careful with those type of situations.
I mean, he's, like, on the side of, I guess, the law, technically, but he's, you know, not so innocent himself either. He sent in these, like, 12 FBI agents just, like, on a experiment, kind of, and they all got killed under his watch. So they're both morally ambiguous, and I feel like just the best place for me to be is just to spectate and
with Ryuk.
Just enjoy this like game of back and forth and just you know, take it for what it is, which is a fictional show, obviously, but just you know, just really enjoy seeing like them outsmart each other. Is really fun to watch, and just
So this 4D chess match that L and Light are both playing against one another gives me a lot of, and spoilers if you haven't seen it, Breaking Bad vibes for, you know, the interesting chess match that Gustavo played with Walter White. Like, they're both two very smart characters, and they were kind of thinking a step ahead, or maybe a couple steps ahead, depending on the situation. And that's the vibe I'm getting. And, you know, I just haven't picked a side yet, even though it's very clear, I feel like you kind of have to pick a side at one point in this particular show, because eventually someone's going to win, I'd imagine. But right now I'm leaning L. But I feel like there's a lot of stuff in Light that I don't think he's a good character by any means, but he's a good character in more. Interesting. He's not a morally good character. He's a good written character.
Yeah.
But like he's very villainous. Unlike L, he has, I feel like, more of a power trip. I think L has a little bit of a power trip too, and I feel like L is very cocky. But I feel like Light is more so like his power, like is kind of wants to be more godly, whereas L is just like he might, you know, do a few things. I mean, they're both, I don't even know what to say. They're both morally ambiguous, like you said. And like, I really don't, I gotta go back and forth on who I root for. Yeah. But like you said, or like I said too, Ryuk, I'm right there with him now. We're just gonna watch and see how it plays out.
Team Ryuk.
Team Ryuk, yeah, that's us. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you can stay notified for all of our future videos.
We also have full-length reactions, exclusive content, things like that over on our Patreon. The full-length reaction to the next episode is over there right now, so if you don't want to wait, the link is down in the description.
Alright guys, let's jump into this episode.
Let's see the following scenes again. Raye Penber passing the ticket gate on his way in, then him boarding the train, and finally the part where he dies on the platform.
Is he getting ice cream? Yeah, he is!
So they're watching the Raye footage?
Yeah.
It seems like he's straining to look inside the train before the doors close. You can see right here. Wouldn't it be interesting if Kira was on that train? Maybe he was counting on us to make that assumption and figured he could get away with such a bold move.
He's eating ice cream too. Such an interesting investigation treat.
Investigation treat?
I don't see the point in writing these names weeks in advance. I've never seen the Death Note used like this.
If criminals stopped dying at the same time, it wouldn't be difficult to connect the two.
Oh. Yeah, this is Suzuki.
Why does he hold it like this?
Raye Penber's fiancée. She's from the Los Angeles baby murder case. That's right.
He did remember her.
Well, apparently she's been missing since the day after her fiancé died.
She's dead.
He was assigned to 2 police officers and those closest to him.
Very well. Who are these 2 individuals who's investigating?
Deputy Director Kitamura, along with Detective Superintendent Yagami and their... At this stage, I'd like to place wiretaps and surveillance cameras in both households.
My household?
To make sure there's no evidence left on this computer, just in case someone goes through it.
Oh, okay. So he is thinking ahead right here.
It seems like you're pretty skilled with your hands. I bet you're pretty popular with the girls, aren't you?
And make sure you install them everywhere. I don't want any blind spots in the house, and that includes the bathroom.
Whoa! Like, I don't know if Light would take out his own dad, but he's gonna be analyzing Light's every move.
I wonder if he knows.
I'm home.
You can't really even talk to Ryuk, too, because it'll just look like he's talking to himself, right?
His door was locked.
Oh.
What?
How's it going? I don't think anyone else is in the house right now. Do you want to play some video games?
He's not gonna talk.
He knows something's up. There's like a paper.
Don't believe it. I never knew he went to such great lengths.
Doesn't look like these clothes have been bugged. I think we're safe. Listen to me. There's a very strong possibility that there are wiretaps and maybe surveillance cameras hidden throughout my house.
Wow.
When that door is closed, the door handle automatically returns to a horizontal position and it won't go any higher than that. But whenever I close the door, I adjust it slightly. Instead of letting it sit horizontally, I lower it by about 5 millimeters.
Oh my gosh.
When I try to open the door, if the handle is all the way up, I can be fairly certain that someone was in my room. When I got home from school today, I noticed that the pencil lead was broken.
Oh my gosh.
What's suspicious is that someone took the time to put it back in the door.
Wow. He's smart.
By the way, Ryuk, what about your apples?
Once the apple's in my mouth, no one can see it. But while I'm holding it, it looks like it's floating.
So I guess it won't kill you to stop eating apples for a while.
Don't you think that's a bit much? Come on. I never told you this, but apples are to me what cigarettes and alcohol are to humans. Do you see what I'm saying?
At least it's healthy.
I'm gonna get withdrawal symptoms.
Oh my god, withdrawal from apples?
He loves
My
apples.
body gets all twisted. I do handstands. It's not pretty.
You'll have to find out where all the cameras are hidden. If you're lucky, you might find a blind spot where you can eat them without being seen.
Wow.
Oh. I was not expecting to see that. Oh! Look at Ryuk!
Is he trying to just act like a normal teenager?
My son is looking at those magazines.
It's normal for a 17-year-old. It's too obvious.
I found a camera in the air conditioner.
Please contact the broadcasters and tell them to play our message.
Very well. Understood.
Oh.
That's right.
They're saying that in response to the Kira murders, Interpol has decided to dispatch a force of 1,500 investigators to Japan. The investigators were drawn from the law enforcement agencies of its member nation.
He's not gonna get up.
Whoa.
Regardless of whether this news is real or not, it's obvious they're just trying to evoke reaction from me. I mean, there's no point in making this announcement. If they're gonna send all these people here to investigate, shouldn't they keep it a secret? If you ask me, this is nothing more than a desperate attempt to shock Kira in the hopes that he'll reveal himself.
Your son's clever, isn't he?
Oh, fuck.
Or you might be like, yes.
I know.
Depending on who you...
I think that's it, Light.
Is he having withdrawals?
Every camera they put in the house.
Oh,
There sure are a lot of cameras in this room. I counted 64 in total.
Whoa!
He had no qualms about putting a death row inmate in his place when he declared war on me. It's pretty clear he doesn't know any limits.
Okay, coming from you don't know too many either.
This is the closest I get.
What was the point of that?
I've
What
set
was
things
that?
up so that criminals will continue to die over the next 3 weeks. But El is aware by now that Kira can control the times of death of his victims. Therefore, to avoid suspicion, El needs to see that criminals whose names are being broadcast continue to die while I have no access to that information.
Wow.
I can continue to kill criminals whose names are broadcast on the news while masquerading as a typical high school student studying for his entrance exam.
Oh, shit. That's what he bought.
I'll solve equations with my right hand and write names with my left. I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
What?
so
Sparkle when
aggressively.
he ate the chip.
A criminal who I should have no knowledge of will die of a heart attack in 40 seconds. And the witness to my alibi is L himself.
From just past 7:30 until now, 11 o'clock, your son's done nothing but study. Kira needs a name and a face. Without those, he can't kill.
He's thinking through it, though.
It doesn't make sense that Kira would kill two petty criminals right after their identities were broadcast. The Yagami household seems almost too innocent to me.
But didn't that mini LCD TV cost you $400?
You really threw it? Whoa. Committed.
Yeah. I mean, it's life and death, really, because you can't
Yeah.
really give up your who you are. Okay, so this was a very interesting episode. I really liked the dynamics at play here between L and Light, and like I said, that chess match, it just keeps intensifying. And it's weird to say that about a chess match, but it really kind of is. Like, they're really just making moves ahead of the other person, and it's really cool to see, especially like, you know, L, like, he even states like, oh, it can't be them, but then I was like, wait, so he thinks through it, so it's kind of interesting. And I just, man, I don't know how it's going to play out now. I really don't.
I don't know either. It's, you know, Light knew about the cameras, obviously. I mean, I feel like he would have known.
Yeah.
And he was prepared for this because, I don't know, it's just like he can think really quickly on his feet. But then L is like, oh, it's too perfect in that house. So now he's probably a little bit more suspicious. It's just crazy.
I'm also curious if L expects Light to find any one of those cameras. Like Ryuk said it, like there were 60 something of them in there, 62 or 64 if I'm not mistaken. And he kind of said like, you know, someone would expect you at least to find one of them. And if he already like was that smart, which I thought was a very cocky move of his, to state that in front of L too, because he knew he was watching about like, oh, that's an obvious, like that's such a stupid move. But he did say like, oh, your son's very perceptive, and I was like, oh man, you're getting way too cocky there. I would try to be a dumbass, like, but that might also be suspicious too, because I bet he knows his history of being smart.
Also, Ryuk is addicted to apples.
Yeah, it was so funny
I
to
know,
see.
so much so that he's like does handstands.
Like, I don't really know what that is all about, but okay.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see the next episode and see what the next moves are from both of these two.
Yeah.
Also, we got confirmation that Naomi died.
Yeah.
We kind of thought that, but we still were kind of questioning it. But I mean, yeah.
It is what it is.
Now
Yeah.
we know.
The only reason I feel like we did question it was because like she was so perceptive. When Ray first spoke to her about the dynamics of Kira, like she was very like, hey, what about this? What about this? And Ray's just went over his head. He wasn't even making those connections. So I just thought maybe she does suspect, or maybe she suspects everybody, but obviously didn't suspect everybody.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you can stay notified for all of our future videos.
Also, head over to our Patreon where we have full-length reactions as well as other exclusive content. The next full-length Death Note is actually over there right now, so if you want to check that out, the link's down in the description below.
Okay, we'll see you in our next video.
Bye, everyone.